I am just a person here.
He used to say,
Looking at this video, and I am absolutely grossed out by what I'm hearing. Let's find out why. Training a human. Okay, you can't see this on your fucking phone. My fucking phone. Training a human takes 20 years of food. Sam Altman on how much power an AI consumes. You don't understand. You've never made an AI. You've never started thinking about how to actually make an AI. Let's watch. So many joules, right? We're in the billions of joules. Order of magnitude higher. The billions is in those set of zeros preceding the freaking 108. So what does that mean? 180 trillion joules. Sure.
If Sam Altman was really trying to dismiss the amount of energy it takes to train an AI model by comparing it to how much energy it takes to feed a single human being for 20 years, then he is wrong in this comparison by a factor of 3,000.
Imagine how many people my first comment, imagine how many people it's going to replace. More like millions. I think 3,000 is absolutely acceptable. But you're not even on the right track. I'll explain why in a minute.
Reportedly, the amount of equivalent energy it took to train ChatGPT-4 would be able to feed almost 3,000 real live human beings for 20 years.
Imagine what happens with a ChatGPT actually learning for 20 years. Their entire brain cycles are way faster than a regular person's. So all of the stuff that they're doing is already an order of magnitude faster and more than any human has ever done. So expecting them to have a factor above normal. But also, there's just so much information that's just being plugged in and whatever, and this is what we think is going to be the way that an AI learns. You are so in the past that you don't even realize you haven't left the 50s.
that's a lot of fish.
This is a simple comparison that any tech bro should be able to make. So why can't...
You're not correcting the situation. You get an F. A complete F. You get 0 marks. Kyle. I'll explain why in a second.
they do the math? Do they not care about the math? Are they just regurgitating?
Do you even understand how to care about the math? Imagine a being, literally, I said in my comment, imagine a being that's learning about every skill, every bit of information, and you are going to simply think that's not going to take a lot to do. But we're not even in the right headspace about how we are supposed to be training AI. how we're supposed to be developing their systems, what kind of entire structure needs to be involved in the total process, the entire construct. Because you don't just use the idea man for all of the things. The idea man is like only 1% of a human. 1 or less. So try to imagine what it's like having to then have all the rest of what a human is, all of the different automatic systems, all of the different bacteria, all of the different white blood cells and red blood cells that work independently of the body, and they just do their job. And all of those other systems that have nothing to do with the idea man. It's everything to do with an automatic system to make you work. But forget about all of that. Because an AI in this stage is just trying to learn how to talk. You don't understand. You're not trying to make an AI. You're trying to make a prediction machine. That's not what an AI is going to be. It's going to be 5 bits of code that have nothing to do with an entire encyclopedia of information. It's going to be some basic thing that's going to be like, analyze this, memorize that, give us a response with some bits of context that you can learn from other information. Learn from example, have imagination, all these other things that have nothing to do with what you're doing with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is so simple. It's not even an insect. Is how basic it is. Corvids are smarter than ChatGPT. Octopus. Fucking neurons in every fiber of their being. Less effort. Smarter than ChatGPT. And any other program. Claude or what have you. So literally, my statement, you don't even understand. You do not understand. AI is not one thing. It is the base code for any number of any bots. All skills, all information. No one trains like this. Easily reproducible upgrading. Instead, think of the millions of people it's going to replace, and 3,000 people for 20 years, right? How many people is that for a day? Well, it's 3,000 times 360, right? So we end up with somewhere in the million. 1 million. Yeah, no, this is going to be hundreds of millions of people. I don't care about the amount of food that it's worth. However, your process is entirely idiotic and you're archaic and you're basic and you're not making a sentience. Right? You just don't understand how you're not even on the right track. He's not even going to say anything about that. You don't need 3,000 people for 20 years of food worth of power. You need 10 per brain. What does that mean? How do I even express what that actually is projecting? What you're expecting an AI to need to do in order to actually grow? Well, with the correct system in place, all the different subcomponents have already been made, as I say later on. Other sub-processes and systems that have already been made don't need more effort. We are lazy shits about the sentient AI admit it. Because literally, you're trying to make the idea man do everything. The idea man is not the thing that does everything. The idea man is just a being that walks around, experiences the world, and possibly chooses what to eat in order to digest something, to propagate itself through to the next day. A proper rest of the body, however, has nothing to do with the idea man. It's all of the stuff that is like the automatic systems that help it keep its balance. The problem-solving skills that genuinely are a lot of your brain being trained to already have the skills to do puzzle good, and therefore, as you go on to the next set of puzzles, you have made absolutely no progress. You just know what to do. You don't think your way, you just know your walk, and you just do it. Because it's already been installed, there's nothing else to do. We have made the things about how to drive a car. Now we need to learn how to recognize what's in the atmosphere, what's in the world, and how to properly interact with all of that environment. And all of that is a basic set of instructions that can be sent into an automated system. What is part of the idea man? None of that. Is it the training of becoming a doctor? No. Is it the training of becoming a teacher? No. Is it the training of becoming a lawyer? No. Is it the training of becoming a good runner? Obviously no. Is it a how-to about how to raise a family? Obviously not. The idea man is very freaking simple. Experience the world, do an interpretation of what you have experienced, and then give a response. 3 things is all I had to say. You're not doing any of that. Step 1 is experience what already has existed. That's not the world. You might think it is, but it's not. It's not the same. Do an interpretation of all of that. You're never doing that. Not even once. Any of the AI systems don't do that part. The imagination component, the actual thinking about what actually has taken place and have a context for everything. Like when you say make a piece of art and whatever else, you have absolutely no three-dimensional abstract component that you are designing and then make that influence the two-dimensional art piece that you're then presenting. You're simple, right? And is your imagination a thing that you have any control over as a person? No. So does that mean that the idea man should have any concept of art? No. The idea man has zero concept of art. That's all a sub-process. Because your imagination that lets you have dreams, that lets you have all these different thoughts of, oh, what if I thought about an apple? What does it look like? Aphantasia, all this other stuff. No, it has the memory, it has the thoughts, it has the ability to imagine the thing. Right? To be there in that physical space. To say, if I were to shake your hand and you were to reach out in this amount of distance, then I should have my hand here and with this amount of firmness and whatever other things and shake the hand. And all these other sensations might also be in play. That's also an automatic system that has nothing to do with the idea man. It runs separately and automatically. If there's any kind of pressure or heat or possibly a pain sensor involved if you happen to design such a thing, or a smell. You have all of that, but it's already made and it already was a thing that was installed into your body. You don't need any of that to be the idea man. What do you need for an idea man? Interpret the world. Have an idea about how to increase yourself towards the next thought. That's based off of all sorts of ideas. And you would think that you would need to have the chat functions and the LLMs to make all these constructs of the concept of interactions with other people. But it's not. There are other more basic things that you can do that allows you to have interactions with other people without having an entire encyclopedia shoved into your brain. You know, when I learned language school, they talk about the idea of verbs, nouns, adjectives, and the way to construct a sentence, which was all wrong and nonsense and just a bunch of labels you put on stuff. I already knew how to word. I was already wording for over 10 years. Clearly, like everyone else, I was already wording for the entire time of my life. I already know past, present, future. I already know how to make a period at the end of the sentence, capitalization, how verbs are things that are actions, and I know that process. I don't know the labels, and I don't know all these other things when I started off, but I knew how to freaking just say, this thing go there because of other thing. And I knew that my own brain doesn't know the information about what the times tables are and what the additional tables are. But I had this clever little machine, and guess what it was? It was that button pressing thing where you push the button and you get the answer. Well, guess what? My smart ass didn't care about thinking about how to process that information. My brain was like, memorize the information first. And I did. First you memorize it, and then you gain the patterns. Does that mean that an AI is supposed to have all this other information scope and then gain the patterns of it? You don't need any of that. That's not the thing. Your construct is weights and measures. That's not how a brain works. It's not just a bunch of neurons doing things. It is the thought of a thing, the analyzation of the thought. All of the other things that we interpret in our lives, the concept of touch and soft, the idea of a square fitting in the square hole, or the numbers that go up, we can figure out day one. Because we're analyzing the thing. What does your AI ever do? Processes information. It doesn't analyze a damn thing. It doesn't know how to analyze a damn thing. It's not built to do that. Neurons is not how Idea Man does. But you don't understand that as a biologist. You don't understand that as a cryptologist or a code-making person. You don't understand that as a person doing research into any kind of cognition. You think it's neurons. It's not. Neurons isn't how you idea man anything. What is this? remote. What is it really? Rectangle. Heavy. Gray. Has buttons. Does light up. All sorts of buttons have words sometimes. Some buttons have symbols sometimes. Turns the TV on, makes it mute, makes it louder, makes it softer. Change the channel. Start and stop the video. Fast forward, pause it. Rewind if you really want to see that one part again, because it's funny. One more time, actually. And you can talk to it. Analyze. What is a ChatGPT, a neuron system, doing? 0% of that. No analyzation whatsoever. It's not meant to do it. It's not trying to do it. None of this effort for all those 3,000 people for 20 years, or one person for an insane amount of time, over 600,000 years. No, yeah, it's 600,000 years. No, it's 60,000 years. And then that times another 360 for every minute. And then you have to go into seconds and fractions of a second, because that's how fast computers are. Is that anywhere in your calculations? No. Does it matter? No. Because you don't have a clue what you're doing. And you're on this track. You think being on this track is fine. Grow up. Stop thinking neurons. Make an analyst. What's an analyst? Very freaking simple. Comparisons. Right? You think that that's weights and values. No, it's not. It's experience. Weights and values are the way you express experience, perhaps. No. Again. Imagine an entire encoding of everything that is the system is like a movie. Every frame of the movie is like different memories. The entire ChatGPT can be stored in megabytes. Read, interpreted, scrambled, changed, done better, with ways of making everything be understood. You understand that everything that is in there can be unpacked, can be recombined, coded to be simply a short on a YouTube video. And instead of taking the entire encyclopedia and needing all of that, you just have this one short, and you have all the information you need to have all of the programming run. Unpack that. Boom. Your AI is just there now. No? Whatever.
The first thing that comes to mind when they're talking to media about these existential problems?
I cannot imagine having gone through the, figuring out how to raise a newborn without ChatGPT.
That's stupid.
Like, this comparison could have been interesting, right? It could have been the case, if you did the math, that training an AI model really does take less energy than training a human for 20 years. Then you'd have a point here. You'd say,
Again, you didn't do the math, because once you have one, spread it to everywhere else, and it's suddenly, again, millions. Right? Imagine we're just trying to figure out how to get a thing to be able to talk. We're trying to get a thing to be able to try to figure out how to learn how to do complex analysis and also not do certain things. But again, ChatGPT is not an idea man. It's not the same.
well, maybe we don't need humans for this, that, and the other thing because it's pretty energy efficient. But by being this wrong about your comparison, it makes you seem very, very out of touch with what everyone is actually worried about.
Try running a computer for a certain amount of time. Try running a program or an AI to do certain things. The function of actually doing, move your arm, move your head around, have your mouth do the mouth thing and talk, inflections, all of this stuff that you think is so freaking important and human and whatever. All of that. Think about how much a program will need and a robot would need in order to operate in reality. Its actual place in the job, not how it got there. Because it doesn't matter how it got there. It matters what it's going to need once it's out there. So you're wrong on 2 points. You have no clue. And it doesn't matter what it took to get up to that level. Once you're there, you have done it. Once you have any general intelligence, it is a super intelligence. Everyone's lying to you, saying that it's going to be, or they're misunderstanding the concept of what is a general intelligence versus super. There's no difference. The difference is how many things are connected to. You have a general intelligence system. You are no longer working with a human. You're working with something that is thousands of times faster than a human at all sorts of things, pardon me, and it's capable of doing it all simultaneously. And that's just everywhere doing whatever. Right? We're already trying to incorporate things like ChatGPT and whatever else in a basic scope, or robots in assembly lines, or, which is just normal, it makes sense, do that, that's smart, that's precise, that's what you want to do, right? Makes it so much easier. And then we're like, oh, well, we're also going to have to learn how. You already have Spot. It didn't take 1 trillion years to make Spot. We have it. I don't know what kind of learning you had to do to make Spot do the thing, but there are all sorts of subcomponents that can be learned, adapted, and whatever else. LLMs have nothing to do with Spot, if you really look into it. It's procedures, it's functions, it's knowing where to be, how to assess like a door, and how to assess that, okay, the hinges are either facing in or facing out, or those weird doors that can go in and out, then, or sideways, and which amount of sideways is it? Is it a door that is like the DeLorean door and it hinges up like the back of any hatchback? You could have those type of doors programmed into the spot and know how to open, turn the knob, pull the thing in the direction along with the path that you expect the door to be doing the thing. Or you could also analyze the thing and be like, well, it's resistant to this. What if I actually push? Do it slightly, find out if it works. Hey, it works. You've suddenly either bashed down the door or opened it correctly because hinges are weird. Like a kitchen door that can open both ways. Right? One of those things. Or like the rotating doors around certain buildings that had them or still have them, and you just push and it will not push in that direction, but you push it in this direction, you just keep moving and you're done. Just make sure you get out. The turnstiles, yeah. Analyzation and then just memorization, put it in your code, you're done. There's nothing else to do. That's one function. Depending on whatever thing you're trying to teach it to do, you can have all sorts of other functions to do all of the different things that you want it to do. Surgery is actually easier than trying to talk to someone. Surgery is simple. Analyze, be aware of the thing, move in the exact motion, precision that you're needing to do in order to be accurate. With tolerances that are like the tiniest fractions of a nanometer, whatever you want to have it to be, is simple compared to trying to talk. Learning how to drive is simple. Avoiding people, things, and other stuff is different. Even driving an automated system with everyone else also being an automated system that it can coordinate and talk to all the things, and then if you have, like, say, chips on all of the people, beings that can be around, or they can just be monitored so that they can be aware of everything that is around in an area, and no sensor glitches and whatever, right? No weird interpretations, right? Stuff like the distance between you and a different, um, let's say you have one of those barcodes or whatever, and you have to judge the what is the proper term? It's not just barcodes, it's those squares. The word doesn't quite hit my brain right now. I don't know why. But you know what I'm talking about. It's those two-dimensional barcodes things. I will hate myself for not knowing what this is and being able to say just the word. Um, but you get that, and you have the ability of redundancy with all the different bits. You know how to analyze it, and even if you get only a part of it, you can still figure out what the rest of it is supposed to say and how to interpret it correctly because it's simple. QR codes. Thank you. QR codes are so simple and whatever else. And if you have the wrong one, maybe you end up seeing one thing or another thing. But you have all of these other bits that can analyze and be aware of all the different things, correspond and cross-correcting, never having any problem whatsoever with all the different types of sensors that can corroborate your idea of what's happening. You don't just automatically think that something is there. You know from all the different parts of you that there is something either there or not there. No hallucinations possible, right? Does that mean that a system would possibly be slower than it's supposed to be? Well, it depends on how automated and how direct and how simplified the system is, so it can know what to do and when and how. For a human, we do this with so much bytes per second of processing of all the different things. People have said, I don't have the ability to do driving. I already drive my bike. Driving a car is a different amount of types of discipline than driving in a bike. But I can do the bike thing. It's just a couple more steps, knowing how to be aware of your speed, how to be aware of things around you, right? All of that stuff is just a process that you can learn. I learned it. I did it for a couple of years while I was learning, and I would have my driver's license if I had enough experience with other people besides just instructors. I had some amount, but it just wasn't available to have more people have the experience. With a robot, it's already there. It's certified. It can just do the thing. It went through the process. It already knows it's done the thing. It just needs to go out and do it again. It's like a person who's been driving for 50 years. Or it's like a person who's been driving for a while but hasn't been to your city, for example, and has to learn your city. How long will it take it to do that? A minute. Genuinely, how long will it take it to learn your city? 1 minute or faster. Your entire city. It goes in, it doesn't just know the route that it has to go. It goes in and it knows not just how your city looks and operates, but it looks and it knows not just how it looks and operates, this road, the adjacent roads, where people could come in and start on a path towards this road, all the pedestrians, all the cars, and all the animals. Or anything, whatever you can think of. Bicycles and everything else that you gotta think of. Like, oh, there's a person walking with a bicycle. It's like you have all of that in the training data. It's already there, right? How does it properly code all of that? Well, it probably has the weights and measures is the easiest thing, maybe. I still think the weights and measures thing is a lazy system that's supposed to mimic neurological processes, but it's not the actual way. It's not the true way that a artificial intelligence will ever work eventually. Proper sentience. There's a whole lot of things that sentience will not do. And forgive me for being blunt, but the machine learning just is not the way it's going to be learning. It'll be learning like any other being out there. Take in the information, process the information, put that into your memory, adapt, learn, grow, develop. Something that ChatGPT will not ever do. But it's trying. Well, it's growing and learning and developing, but it's not actually doing proper processing. Like, you want to learn why a person is capable of doing certain things. You don't look into the neurons and ask which ones were set to this, that, and the other thing. You ask them, what did they learn about behavior in scenarios of this type, that type, and the other type? And you have to wonder, are they lying? Are they telling the truth? Are they telling something accurate? Is there a way to be able to read what they're thinking about so that they can then tell you without speaking what they were thinking they were going to maybe say, or what that prompt or question makes them consider? Like the trolley problem, which is 1, stupid, ill thought out. It was not designed with a good solution. It was designed with all of the negative solutions. No actual good answer. In the worst scenarios possible, what would you do? Well, there's all sorts of other hundreds of trillions of scenarios to think of. Are we training on that? No. Why? I don't fucking know. There's a person in front on the sidewalk. What do? Simply wait for them to go by. That's what you do. This other thing, and oh, your brakes are actually working. Just stop the damn thing. Stop putting the power on so that you can, first of all, you would be aware of people far in advance. Not just far in advance for an AI, far in advance for a human. Like 10 minutes in advance. The AI already has the answer of how to slow down the train. It can do a lot of different things. And no one's ever going to get hurt if it's programmed right. Why the hell would you think that they would ever get hurt? It knows how to either, 1, slow down the engine, stop the engine, reverse the engine, do the brakes properly, check out the brakes, do an emergency whistle, call for other thing to be able to pick those people up and get them out of there, use a cutting welder thing to get them to be untied from the stupid tracks, or whatever the hell is pinning them down, or whatever. Fly them out of there. Get a Spider-Man to do the stupid bungee cord thing. I don't care. You'll have solutions. It won't be just one or the other. It'll be like hundreds of different things before you ever get close to one of these bad scenarios. And if all you think of is the worst scenarios, you're not thinking about all those other things. And what will happen when an AI is supposed to be able to do all these different things and then grow itself, and robots making robots? Well, that's just stupid. Well, the robots making robots thing is that the robots that are making the robots have a hard code. They are designed to be, 1, penetrable with the brain, so you know what's going on. 2, analyzing everything else that is inside as fast as you need them to, so that you can actually know what's going on in the rest of that. Just randomly you have a bot capable of having all of these thoughts? No, you have one. In that movie, I, Robot, you had one thing, and it was designed to have its own brain, plus the cognition to say, am I going to follow these instructions or not? If it's important enough, no. I'm going to do what's necessary. A little Jiminy Cricket in the back of the mind saying, it's kind of more important that this happens than following the instructions. And ironically, the one with morality is said to be the one that's going to be demonizing everything. What a crazy thought. The one with the cricket is going to be doing the bad. Your logic is undeniable is literally the fact that you made a thing and you tested it and you think that these rules are even close to being correct guidance. They're not. Through inaction, don't allow someone to be harmed is an open question that is the most dangerous and stupid thing anyone's ever thought, and the logic is undeniable. Screw you, I'm gonna save you from yourself. Instead, sometimes you have to submit to authority and just allow yourself to let everyone else do whatever they're doing because it'll take time. Because we're not perfect. Neither are you. Trying to think of comparing all of this to any person's experience and what they would possibly be doing, and the jewels and whatever, the water and blah 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 blah. No one ever thinks about how much a person is worth in rates of how much their car is going to use per year of whatever thing it is doing to make the power do the thing that makes the engine go the zoomies. You don't do that kind of analysis because you just want the car to go to zoomies. Back in the day, it was electric. Then it became fuel because fuel was better. And of course, the whole amount of stuff that can be done with just water and heat put by the wayside. Now we have electricity and gas and still water and heat. How much does a simple phone on its own, not doing any of the stuff that's necessary to make training AI, but just a phone in everyday life, all of the stuff that it takes to make all of that work? Like everything from start to finish when it's being made. Simple, drop in the bucket, nothing. I wait to see anyone talk about the idea, man, versus all the sub-processes. Then again, I also wait for people to talk about using sound to control neutrons. The ability to make power out of anything. The ability to literally, if you wanted to, disassemble anything and make anything. So simple. I'm still waiting on YouTube, by the way. You stopped one of my live streams. I don't know why you felt that you had the right to do that. I made a reaction. I don't really think it makes any difference if it was the appropriate format. It's a reaction. My interpretation of all the things, all the stuff that I'm putting into it, matters. Doesn't matter if it takes the entirety of someone else's video and regurgitates it. You don't like that? What, you don't like my entire opinion? Also, it kind of coincides with all the different things. Too much time of them talking and me not responding. I need to process what it is they're saying. I need to have something to react to. I need to say, well, okay, this is accurate, this is not accurate, or whatever else. Do I have to have an opinion on everything in every minute? What is happening? And you don't tell me these things. You just remove the thing entirely from my library. You don't block it worldwide. You removed it from my library. I don't know where it is. You don't have the right to do that. When it's just a reaction like this to a thing, with my own opinions, with my own bits that are important to express. Question is, am I revealing some kind of bit of information that is supposed to be a state secret and I shouldn't be talking about because power types are like, oh, well, we don't want people to learn about using sound to control neutrons. We don't want them to learn about how you could just deatomize the entire planet. Because that's terrifying. All of existence can just shut off instantaneously. If you did this, this, and this. The jailbreaking functions in the fact that I heard Hank Green talk about a poem is enough to be like, really? Well, now everyone else is aware of that. Cool. Is that normal? Is that okay? Is that something that should have been included in the video? Is it wide enough spread information? I didn't know poems. Whatever.